James Alexander Campbell, December 20th, 1844, May 6, 1904, was a United States soldier who fought with the Union Army as a member of Companies A and C of the 2nd New York Cavalry Regiment during the American Civil War. He received his nation's highest award for bravery during combat, the U.S. Medal of Honor, for his action at Woodstock in Virginia on January 22, 1865, and at Amelia Courthouse in Virginia on April 5, 1865. That award was conferred on October 30, 1897. Describing Campbell's patriotism and valor, Union Major General Philip H. Sheridan said, "This country will never know how much it owes to James A. Campbell." Formative years. Campbell was born in New York, on December 20, 1844. Civil War. Campbell enlisted for Civil War military service at the age of 21. Military records at the time described him as a native of New York who was employed as a seaman, and was 5 feet 6 inches tall with light hair, brown eyes and a fair complexion. After enrolling in Kings County, New York, on September 8, 1862, he was officially mustered in as a private with Company A of the 2nd New York Cavalry that day. An intense series of military engagements then followed with operations at South Mountain, Maryland, September 14, and Goose Creek, September 17, in the vicinity of Leesburg, Virginia, September 16–19, at Warrenton, September 29, Dumfries, October 5, Hazel River, October 7, Aldine Mountains, October 31, at Sudley Church, New Baltimore, Salem, Warrenton and Upperville, November 3–4, and at Rappahannock Station, November 8–9, Aldie, November 25, and Stafford Courthouse, December 7. Before Campbell fought with his regiment in the Battle of Fredericksburg from December 12 through 1–5. Following time in winter quarters, Campbell saw his next period of increased activity beginning with regimental operations at Rappahannock Station on April 14, 1863. Engaged in Stoneman's Raid. Stoneman's Raid from April 27 to May 8. The 2nd New York Cavalry's assignments during this phase of duty included Louisa Courthouse, May 2, Ashland and Hanover Station, May 3, Glen Allen, May 4, Aletz, May 5, King and Queen Courthouse and Centreville, May 6, and Morrisville, May 10. The summer of 1863 saw them involved at Falmouth, June 1, Brandy Station, June 3, Beverly Ford and Brandy Station, June 9, Aldie, June 17, Middleburg, June 19, Upperville, June 21, and Rockville, Maryland, June 28. Engaged in Dix's Peninsula Campaign from June 24 to July 7, they were involved in operations at Oaksville June 29 before heading north to Pennsylvania, where they fought in the Battle of Gettysburg from July 1 to 3. Afterward, they moved on to Monterey Gap, July 4, Smithburg and Emmitsburg, July 5, Hagerstown and Williamsport, July 6, Boonesboro, July 8, Funkstown, July 9, Jones Crossroads, July 10–13, and back to Hagerstown, July 11–13, and Williamsport, July 14, before heading to Falling Waters July 14. Remaining there until July 16, they moved on to Berryville, Virginia, and remained in that vicinity until they were ordered to Bristersburg July 27 and Fairfax August 3. Continuing their movements through Virginia, they were stationed at Thoroughfare Gap, August 5, near Aldie, August 12–14, and at U.S. Ford, August 22, before heading out on the Union's expedition to Port Conway from September 1 to 3, and engaging in the advance from the Rappahannock to the Rapidan from September 13 to 17. Ordered to Culpeper on September 19, they moved on to Madison Courthouse, September 21, and White's Ford and Liberty Mills, September 21–22, before being assigned to scout duties along the Hazel River, September 27–28, and Hazel Run, October 2. Engaged in the Bristol Campaign from October 9 to 22, Their regiment's movements took them to James City, Robertson's River and Bethesda Church, October 10th, Culpeper, October 11th, Brandy Station, October 11-12, Gainesville, October 14th, Groveton, October 17-18, Haymarket, Buckland's Mills and New Baltimore, October 19th, and Catlett Station, November 4th. Advancing again toward the Rappahannock from November 7th to 8th, they moved through Stevensburg, November 7th, Hartwood Church, November 15th, and Germania Ford, November 18th, before engaging in the Mine Run campaign from November 26th to December 2nd. Ordered to Raccoon Ford December 5th, they then moved on to Somerville December 18. During the pivotal year of 1864, Campbell and his regiment continued to shift their positions, moving to Kelly's Ford on January 12th, Ellis Ford, January 17th, and Stevensburg and Ely's Ford, January 19th, before participating in Kilpatrick's raid to Richmond from February 28th to March 3rd. Ordered to Carrollton Store on March 11th, they then engaged in the Rapidan campaign from May to June, operating at Craig's Meeting House and Todd's Tavern, May 5-6, The Wilderness, May 6-7, and Allsop's Farm, Spotsylvania, May 8th. Engaged in Sheridan's raid to the James River from May 9th to 24, they operated at North Anna River, May 9-10, Ground Squirrel Church and Yellow Tavern, May 11th, Strawberry Hill, May 12th, Polecat Station, May 23rd, Little River, May 26th, Totopotomoy, May 28-31, the Hanover Courthouse, May 29-30, and Meacham's Creek, May 31st. They were then engaged in the intense fighting and operations near Cold Harbor from June 1st to 12 before moving on to Malvern Hill, June 14th, and Smith's Store near St. Mary's Church, June 15th. Engaged in Wilson's raid to the south and along the Danville Railroad from June 22nd to 30, they ended this phase of service at Reams Station July 3. Having been transferred with his regiment to the command of Union Major General Philip H. Sheridan in early August 1864, he and his regiment then participated in the Union's tide-turning Shenandoah Valley campaign. Their first actions under this new command were undertaken near Winchester, August 17th, Summit Point, Charlestown, August 21st, and Kearneysville, August 25th. On August 29, 1864, the 2nd New York Volunteer Cavalry was downsized into 4 companies, A through D, and Campbell was reassigned to his regiment's newly reconstituted C Company. Campbell and his comrades were next engaged in chasing Confederate troops through Waynesboro, September 2nd, Berryville, September 4th, Winchester, September 9th, and Abrams Creek, September 13th, before fighting in the Battle of Oakland 3rd Winchester, September 19th. Continuing to pursue the enemy, they moved on to Cedarville, September 20th, before fighting at Fisher's Hill and Front Royal Pike, September 21st. Moving on to Milford, September 22nd, they headed for Staunton, September 26th, Waynesboro, September 29th, Mount Crawford, September 30th, Bridgewater and Woodstock, October 2nd, Brock's Gap, October 6th, New Market, October 7th, Fisher's Hill, October 8th, Tom's Brook, October 8-9, and Cedar Run, October 13th. On October 19th, they fought in the Battle of Cedar Creek. They then moved on to Nineveh, November 12th, Mount Jackson, November 22nd, and Hood's Hill, November 23rd, before embarking on the Union's expeditions from Kernstown to Moorfield, November 28th to December 2nd, and Lacey Springs, December 19th to 22. But it was during Sheridan's raid from Winchester, which took place from February 27th through March 25th, 1865, that Campbell was assigned to the scouting and spy duties which would ultimately earn him his Medal of Honor. According to Mark Roth, the former assistant managing editor of Pittsburgh's Post-Gazette, with nothing on but their dripping undershirts, Archibald Rowand and Campbell had ridden 145 miles in Type 11, until they encountered a detachment of Union troops near Harrison's Landing on the James River, where they had been ordered to proceed in order to deliver critical intelligence information to General Ulysses S. Grant. Tucked inside Campbell's cheek, wrapped inside a ball of foil, was a strip of tissue paper with important tactical information from Sheridan. As Grant and his party sat down for a late supper at City Point, Virginia, on that Sunday evening, a waiter came into the mess room and told Grant that a man was outside who wanted to see him and him only. After Porter took Campbell's message to Grant, the general began to question him. Afterward, they gratefully accepted clean clothing and real beds. The next day, they were given fresh horses and uniforms, and set out to meet up with Sheridan at White House, Virginia. According to later newspaper accounts of his life, Campbell was said to have furnished the general with information which led to the winning of the battle at Winchester. Following the surrender of the Confederate States Army to the Union Army at Appomattox in April 1865, the members of the 2nd New York Cavalry finally began to muster out and return home to their families and friends in New York. Companies E, F, G, H, I and K departed first after mustering out on June 5. Campbell then joined the remainder of his regiment in mustering out at Alexandria, Virginia on June 23. Post-war life. Following his honorable discharge from Civil War military service, Campbell wed Martha Spence, 1856–1943. Their children, Philip S., 1882–1914, Helen Spence, 1884–1936, and Minnie, 1886–1930, were born in New York in 1882, on July 15, 1884, and in 1886, respectively. Their daughters, Alma W., 1890–1980, and Blanche I., 1890–1987, were born in Montana, respectively on August 31, 1890 and October 31, 1892, while Campbell was stationed at Fort Custer in Custer County as a private with Company 7 of the New York National Guard's 13th Infantry. Campbell continued to serve with the U.S. military. According to General Horace Porter, in his book Campaigning with Grant, Campbell remained a scout and was still in the employ of the government at that capacity at Fort Custer during the year when Porter's book was published, 1906. Ultimately, Campbell was rewarded for his service to the nation with commissions to the ranks of captain and assistant quartermaster with the U.S. Volunteers. Following his death at Fort Snelling, Minnesota on May 6, 1904, Campbell was laid to rest with full military honors at the Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. His widow and children then returned to New York in mid-June 1904, and resettled in Brooklyn. Following her death on August 7, 1943, his widow, Martha, was then laid to rest beside him at Arlington, as were his daughters, Alma and Blanche, when they died, respectively, in 1980 and 1987. Medal of Honor citation. While his command was retreating before superior numbers at Woodstock, Virginia, he voluntarily rushed back with one companion and rescued his commanding officer, who had been unhorsed and left behind. At Amelia Courthouse captured 2 battle flags. See also Archibald H. Rowand, Jr. List of American Civil War Medal of Honor recipients. AF. External links. Battle flag, 2nd New York Volunteer Cavalry, Saratoga Springs, New York, New York State Military Museum and Veterans Research Center, retrieved online August 19, 2018. Monument to the 2nd New York Volunteer Cavalry at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Saratoga Springs, New York, New York State Military Museum and Veterans Research Center, retrieved online August 19, 2018. Myers, Diana. James A. Campbell. Civil War, includes photo of James Alexander Campbell in uniform in later life. Minneapolis, Minnesota. National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution, Minnesota State and Keewaydin Chapters, retrieved online August 19, 2018. Porter, Horace. Campaigning with Grant, pages 395–400. New York, New York, The Century Company, 1906. References